Welcome to Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. I'm Peter.
Hey, everybody, and I'm Frank,
That's
East
Frank.
Coast Frank,
East
and
Coast
he's
Frank.
West Coast. So we've done a little bit of reorganizing and rejiggering of our locations, and well, I'm here now. So hopefully this is what our one, two, third show that we're doing
That we're
this way.
experimenting
So
with it. Yeah.
hopefully folks are digging it. That's pretty cool. I haven't heard any complaints or anything like that. So there's that.
There's
So
that.
yeah,
Our featured performer today is Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton. Oh, a gem she is.
Yeah.
She's so great. All right, that's cool. Before we do that, let's talk about. I saw this annoying article recently that talked about how science fiction movies got the future wrong, and
Oh,
I don't want to talk about necessarily about movies about the future that got it wrong, but I want to discuss the notion that such articles are, in my opinion, stupid.
yeah.
So critiques of science fiction based on their accuracy or lack thereof. So that's
Okay.
what I want
I
to
got you.
complain
I
about.
got you. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Diane Keaton, go ahead.
Diane Keaton. Okay. Uh, a wonderful actor of a certain age. And the reason I just mentioned her age is because she's been with us for a while and she has delivered for many years. And she's been in some very big, important movies of our lifetime.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going to start with um, not necessarily the movie that started anything off, but she had a successful career on stage, and then she worked with Woody Allen on stage too, and but then in the movies. Um,
She was
and
like his Uma Thurman for
yeah, there was that
without the
time
feet.
period between, like, I don't know, whatever you want to say, like the late 60s throughout the 70s. Um, yeah, she was a mainstay, and the it could have been her fourth or fifth movie with him by this point. I don't remember exactly, but the one that really got her a lot of attention, even though she had been in The Godfather 1 and 2 before, um, Annie Hall, where she plays the title character of Annie Hall. This one, it's she's it's lighthearted, and as much as I don't like this word, quirky character,
But she is.
she it shows that romantic comedy side of her that she can do so well, and it still does even today. She's they'll come out with uh, an older, mature rom-com sort of thing. But she's incredible in Annie Hall. A near perfect script and movie. The direction, the movie's incredible. Um, whether or not I believe it still holds up, other people may not, because there are certain things that are definitely dated about it. But the crux of the matter is that it's a relationship that at times works and at times doesn't work, and we get to see this, and it's in the show business uh, area, but this relationship, or the breakdown of it works.
Yeah.
It seems true. It seems plausible. Yeah, there are some little things in there, obviously, Woody Allen's doing that seem ridiculous, but obviously on purpose. But for the most part, you go, this kind of rings true of a relationship. And
Definitely.
there's some scenes in there that, even though it's never happened to me, you can see how they would look back on, like, the lobsters on the floor in the kitchen scene as something that you look back on, and it's this quaint feeling, and it kind of pulls a little at
No,
you because you know
I've
that
had
the
those,
relationship is over. And you know, and anyway, but so as Annie Hall really knocks the ball out of the park, and she, because of that character and her performance, there's this other level that it brought. It actually affected and influenced women's fashion for a couple of years, because she had a
Oh
look
yeah.
called the Annie Hall look, and that actually had an effect on society, for fashion anyway. The movie came out in 77, so 77, 78, it's yeah, it affected women's fashion, uh, for some people, obviously.
More
And
so than another movie that came out that year, more so than Princess Leia's. Like
yeah,
the hair. We didn't get so
I
much of
tried
that.
that look. I tried that look.
Tried to picture that with like a plaid men's vest and an untucked blouse. That was a look. People try to do both.
And the big floppy hat on top.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So and Annie
that's
Hall, the movie's great. Her performance, and there are some little performances in there that are great, but she's really tremendous in that one. And that made you feel as though, you know, we had seen her in Sleeper and a couple of other Woody Allen, and you realized, oh, she had just done a couple of years earlier both Godfather Part Two, so we saw her in that one, and now we really kind of get the idea. Oh, she can do anything, and she's not just a supporting character like she was a much smaller role in Godfather 1 and 2, but she can hold her own again with anybody and be the title character. And in Annie Hall, it's a great movie. It's not even my favorite Woody Allen movie, but it's wonderful performance. There's a lot of good stuff going on, and she's able to really pull it off. And you never forget that the movie Annie Hall, even though it's a Woody Allen movie, is really about two people, and one of them of Annie Hall. And thank God that movie came out. It's important to me, but her performance is great. So that's my first pick. Other one, as that movie was really getting a lot of attention and traction, she followed that right up with another movie. And it's a movie that I think gets lost today. I don't hear many people referring to this movie, but Looking for Mr. Goodbar.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. She's like a self-destructive woman. She's a school teacher by day, and she's working with the deaf and hearing impaired students, and everything else in her life is so different. She's self-destructive. She's cruising, discos, because it's that time period, nightclubs, drug use, and she's trying to balance it with her really traditional kind of uptight Catholic family, who she doesn't live with, but she lives close. And her sister, who's played really, really well by Tuesday Weld. I remember being impressed by that performance in the movie. So she just doesn't fit in. Her morals and her lifestyle is not fitting in with the family, but it also might not fit in with the traditional idea in the 1970s of what a school teacher's life might be like. But this is a single woman, and she's out there, and she's there's just a lot of she's chosen to live a lifestyle that's a little gritty, and it's not compatible with our stereotypical idea of even of a school teacher, but sometimes maybe even of what our idea of Diane Keaton is either. So it's really against the grain, this casting. And I think she went with it on purpose so she wouldn't be always thought of as
Annie Hall,
a comic, a comedian, Annie Hall. And I watched it again probably 2 years ago, looking for Mr. Goodbar. Very good. Like I said, I remember really enjoying the movie, but being bothered because it was dark when it came out. And then, I've seen it a few times, but I saw it more recently, and impressed also by supporting cast. William Atherton and Tuesday Weld is in it, and just very good. And
that's so funny to hear that William Atherton was considered was good, because he really just plays an asshole and everything else
right.
that I'm familiar.
He's like the social worker in this one, I think. But anyway, it's
what else?
Good. I want to say there's a bit. Well, it's not a bit role, but it's a smaller role. Richard Gere is in it. He's younger in this one. So this is like 77, just after Annie Hall. But looking for Mr. Goodbar. I think this movie really deserves, if people haven't seen this one in a while or have never watched it, really deserves a first or second viewing, or wherever you fall in that one. But excellent in that one. She really just shows really dramatic thing, and it's something different. Kind of goes out on a limb, it seemed like, with this role, and really delivers. My third one is a movie that could turn people off because of its length, but she's in a movie called Reds, and it's a Warren Beatty movie. Stars, wrote, and directed, and it's about.
So I would rather try to watch Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
No, I got to tell you, this movie is long, but it's worth it. She's very good in this movie. It's about activism, and it takes place before World War. It starts before World War I, and it's got early, like the nascent, communism movements and stuff, and socialist movements, and it starts in this country, but then it starts to lead to like this activism where they are gonna, boots on they're gonna get out there and do stuff, not just locally. So now she's in Russia, she's in Europe, and she's doing stuff. And there's stuff where there's situations where you don't know if you're gonna be dead within a moment because you're not in the US anymore. There's no protection, and you're just out in the middle of this stuff. And there's sometimes two sides to an issue, or two sides to a war or a civil war that's going on. But in the case of Russia, there's like sometimes three armies going on, and it's different stuff. And what I'm so impressed with her in this movie, because it's not glamorous. She's always there. She's kind of like new to the scene at the beginning, but she just jumps right in it. And she is sticking true to her guns, and that's the other thing that's really good. There's a scene in there where Maureen Stapleton, who's got a great role in this one, she plays Emma Goldman, who's a late 19th century, early 20th century activist, and she's older. She's well established within their community. She's not that impressed with the Louise Bryant character, who is a real character played by Annie Hall. She's not impressed with her. And she just thinks that the Warren Beatty, the John Reed character, he's wasting his time with her. She thinks that she's a lightweight and she's not going to be able to do anything. But at the end of the movie, she tells her, she's like, I underestimated you. You've really, you know what I mean? You walk the walk. We're not just talking, you're out there, and I'm impressed. And it's almost that way you feel about her acting. She's like rolled up her sleeves, and this is not a glamorous thing. There are situations where it might be a little there's scenes with Jack Nicholson, who plays Eugene O'Neill. So there is stuff where it's a little like they're out in Provincetown, they're having a great little summer, but that's not what she's getting accustomed to. She's now sold, and she's out there fighting like behind the lines or on the front lines. And so Reds, it's long. It was actually the first movie I can remember watching at the movie theater where they actually had an intermission. So I'm watching the movie and it stops and it's an intermission. They turn the lights on and I'm in the movie theater going, oh, I guess we get up now, go out, come back. It was that long. And so they felt that it needed an intermission. And this is, I don't know, 1979, 1980 or whatever it was. And, high school or college for me, I forget. But great performance. And there, if you could get through the movie, Frank, there really is just stuff that will stick with you.
I've been through it. Once is enough for me.
I've actually seen it a few times. I really like it, and it's because of great performances, Maureen Stapleton, Warren Beatty. But when it comes to Diane Keaton, I shouldn't have been, but I was so surprised at how well she pulls it off, almost like the Emma Goodman character is with her in the movie. She said, she's so impressed with her. I was too. So those are my three.
All right.
Diane Keaton picks.
All right. I will. I'm gonna go Godfather.
Yeah.
Her role in 1 and 2. I think it's great because she's kind of. You wouldn't expect her to kind of call Michael Corleone to task, and the way she sort of, her character integrates into this family, and she's I don't know, she's just sort of strong in a movie where they don't give you a lot of really strong women. Like Talia Shire is just kind of unfortunately a bit of a punching bag and
she gets stronger later, but
right. So but initially not so much. So to see Diane Keaton in that, having seen her, because I saw Annie Hall before I ever saw The Godfather. So I like her in The Godfather because she's just, like I said, she's just she's strong. It's a very male dominated movie, but as one of the women characters, she really does stand out as someone who, can, yell at Michael and not get killed for it. So Annie Hall is fantastic. It's why we have movies like When Harry Met Sally. It's a great romantic comedy. She's smart, she's funny, she's doing her own thing, she's got her own particular style, and she's just great. She's fun, and it's sort of like you wouldn't have the quirky Zooey Deschanel without the quirky Annie Hall, where it becomes that becomes your a bit of a trait, and but she's very, very likable. She's funny. She's a nice foil for him on occasion, and I love that movie. It's and she's a lot of fun in it, and she just seems very real and grounded in it, and she's just like someone who's just like, that's someone I wanted to date. That's like, you have when you think, oh, who are the cool types of women I'd like to date. And you go down a list of 10, and the Annie Hall type is, that kind of quirky, weird, funny woman that you want to know. But my next one is her being far more intense in a show called The Young Pope with Jude Law. It was an HBO series, and she plays a nun, and she's sort of like almost like a mother figure to the Jude Law Pope character.
Okay. I have not seen this.
It's really, really good. I would highly recommend it. It was very short-lived, but it was really great. And she's strong, and she's very, very commanding, and she puts him in his place. And she really does. She's got but not like an over the top mother superior kind of
Okay.
thing. He sort of takes her in. She was like part of an orphanage, and then he sort of brings her to the Vatican as sort of an advisor capacity. And yeah, she's really great in that. I was really surprised with how powerful she came off in that. Really, really great, especially a character like that. And in the Vatican, where it's all very male dominated, for her character to really pop like that, I thought was fantastic.
Wonderful.
I just thought that she was great. She's one of those actors that when she pops up in something, you're like, oh, another bit of Hollywood royalty. Fantastic. She's totally reliable. She shows up in some it's like this romantic comedy. I think that Alec Guinness is in it. Not Alec Guinness, Alec Baldwin. Alec Guinness.
Wow.
But Alec Baldwin shows up in it. And it's just I wish I could remember the name of it. But yeah, she's great. She's funny. She can do drama. She's fantastic.
Yeah, and she's still so active that it seems like she can play a mature rom-com lead if they want to go that way, but she can also just play straight comedy or even farcical comedy if she's playing somebody's mother now, or even, should I say, a grandmother now too.
Yeah.
I can see that working. And to be honest, I think they could put her in a serious drama and it would not detract one bit.
No, not at all.
Diane Keaton's doing a wouldn't detract at all.
No, she's a powerhouse. Yeah. Most definitely.
I really enjoy. There's a much later. Well, there's a later Woody Allen movie called Manhattan Murder Mystery, and it's at a time. I think I got the chronology right. There's a time when a lot of this stuff with Woody Allen and Mia Farrow was just starting, and he needed to recast a leading woman. And so he called up his dear friend, Diane Keaton, and so she's his wife in the movie, and they're trying to solve a murder mystery. And it's fun, not just funny, but it's fun to see them working together again. But they're like in bed, like they can't sleep because this potential mystery has been thrust on them, and now they're like oh, all excited and Jones, and then so like, he'll be tired, I got to get to bed. She's like, no, I got this idea. How about if this is how he killed her? And then and stuff like that. It's just great to see them, in action together again. And so that one didn't quite make it up there, but there's a ton of movies that
she's great.
She's in it. Great stuff. Still delivers.
So here's my question from before. I recently read an article that complained about, took a handful of like science fiction movies and talk about what they got wrong, whether it be the technology or the state of society or, Soylent Green, that type of thing. It's just, and it infuriated me because one, they're science fiction, they're not trying to predict the future. And science fiction typically, traditionally, have been stories, albeit set in the future. They're talking about the present.
Exactly.
So I just get so irritated with critiques of science fiction that take them as like, oh, this is what it said it was going to be, and we don't have flying cars yet, and it's like, well, that's not the point of this movie, you dummy.
Exactly.
And it just sort of derails like what this movie was trying to do. So it's just, like Blade Runner happens to take place in 20 whatever, but it's like, it's about what does it mean to be human, and that story could take place 1,000 years ago as well as 1,000 years from now. And I mean, that's That's the
It's almost like you could compare two movies about the humanity and what it means to be a human being and what you can do possibly to go out on a limb for your fellow human being. You can make a comparison between Schindler's List and Blade Runner. Like, what do you do to help?
right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and instead, by coming out with an article that's going to take yourself so seriously that you're going to make this pompous comparison between, oh, well, we don't have these flying cars yet, or we don't, like, yeah,
Well,
like
it just
like you say, it's not the point of the movie. So
right, and it's
the trappings of what's just going to reflect our, so we can see and catch our eye about the future. That's not the important thing, though. Just
right,
let
and
it go.
It takes away from the notion of like that people should look a little bit beyond the surface of what the movie is. It's like when I did that little film school with kids a million years ago, we would talk about, like, what's a movie about? What's Harry Potter about? And the kids, and these were kids who were like second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. And they'd be just like, oh, well, it's about, this boy who finds out he's a wizard and blah, blah, blah. And he goes to this school. And it's like, yeah, that's what happens. But that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Let's look at the stories and what's it about. And so you get to thinking a little bit more about, what does the story tell us? And it's about the power of friendship and loyalty and love and pick a side and, good versus evil. That's what it's about. And stupid articles like this, critiques like this is just like, oh, we don't have lasers. We don't have laser guns yet.
Yeah. It's also like you can get away with it if you're making fun of the fact that somebody's taking it too seriously. That could be funny little thing. But yeah, when you actually write an article or report on something and you are serious about it, I'm like, yeah, you are missing something then. Like, who's gonna sit in seriously complain about animated movies? Oh, I saw Porky Pig in a cartoon and he wasn't wearing pants. What the hell? He's got a jacket on, but he doesn't have pants. I mean, like,
and this is for kids? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why are you watching this? I don't understand. Why are we critiquing this aspect of it?
Right. It just infuriates because
it does. Like, yeah, how serious are you? And what I mean? What else is going on in your life that you're focusing on?
It just promotes it promotes the idea that movies don't have anything deeper going on. It's just like, oh, what you see is what you get. But that's not always true,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is funny how people will kind of glom onto something and just run with it, and you go, I don't really think that's the main here. I don't,
It's like you keep using these words, and I don't think it means what you think it means. Just, I don't know. All right. So folks, thanks for watching and listening and all that. Any comments or thoughts on our new kind of bi-coastal format here?
I'm still waiting for the picture phone. Wait, I think we got one here.
Yeah, I know. We can do that. We're doing that right here. Peter, who do we have next? Actually, we should talk about our next person that we're going to talk about.
All righty. For me to know and you to find out.
That would be for me to find out at our production meeting, which will be after this.
Take place very soon.
So folks, thanks for watching the show. Thanks for listening to the show. If you like it, click the like thing, hit subscribe, tell all your friends, tell your enemies. If you don't like it and you want them to suffer, that's fine too. Yeah. So
if you want to tell Diane Keaton what we think about her, that's okay too.
Exactly. All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.